Yo, are you mining Monero? Do you have a AMD CPU and you want to mine Monero and you've already downloaded it, but you've seen the hash rates that are on the benchmarks and you're wondering why? Why, oh why? Why am I not getting the hash rate that's on the benchmarks? I might have a few answers for you. I'm going to do a little tutorial here, so stick around. Yo, crypto nation and mining family. Crypto nation and mining family, what's going on? Of course, like always, it's not financial advice. Yo, crypto nation and mining family, what's going on? So, like I was saying, if you're mining Monero and you have an AMD card, NVIDIA is you're going to have to do the same kind of things to your computer, but most of it you're going to be doing in BIOS, where AMD, there's a little bit of an easier way of doing things nowadays. So let's go ahead and dig into today's little segment. So, booyah, I love this. My little screensaver, you know. But what you don't see on here that I normally have on this screen is this. So this is MSI Afterburner, if you're not familiar with it. This is my overclocking tool of choice, especially with my NVIDIA cards. Now this does work on AMD, but AMD also has their own overclocking tool built into the Radeon software. Global Wattman works on the card, I think, a little bit nicer, a little cleaner interface on there. You get some really cool controls on it that, you know, you get a lot of the same things where you can core undervolt it, power limit it, you know, core and memory overclock, fan speed control. But as long as you're doing it with inside of AMD's native software, I think it's a little bit cleaner of an execution on that. So with that being said, since we're not GPU mining on this one, guys, I can actually slide this over here, get that out of my way. So the first thing you're going to do whenever you're mining on a CPU, or if you're a gaming enthusiast and you want to start to overclock in any way, shape, or form. So the first thing you're going to want to do is basically go ahead and look up the information for the CPU you bought. Booyah, right? So you can come on down, and they've got specifications down here. Now what I'm looking for from here are a few different sets of numbers. One, its native operating frequency, so when it's idling, it's a lot lower. But whenever you put it under load, this is where it tries to live life at. It can turbo over in case of high demand for a moment here and there. It can reach these upper speeds, as long also as you have a aftermarket cooler on there, preferably a water block, and then you'll be able to see these numbers a little bit more often. The biggest holdback on most CPUs is its generation of heat. So know that the closer you get to the max turbo frequency, the more power you have to put through it to get it to hold there stably. So as you add power, every watt has so many BTUs, guys. So you're going to have to dissipate that electrical heat. So if you don't have a good solution, you'll start getting up there and it will destabilize on you, and game over, it crashes. Sometimes it can hurt things. If you're overpowering it and it dies out like that, you can damage the chipset a little bit and it won't hash as hard anymore. I'm just saying, so be careful with overvolting a CPU. But the big number that I look at here is what's the fastest speed that I can go at on the RAM that the chipset supports. Now you can sit there and push the RAM on mine. I got 3000 megahertz on there. This allows 2933, so I can put it to the 3000. It sometimes boots, sometimes won't. So with that being said, we're gonna test it at the 2933 megahertz on the RAM speed. This way you're putting it into its more efficiency mode for data throughput on this. So so this is what the information that I look at from here. So I'd like to know the operating frequency and the boost frequency, but more importantly, the memory speed. So with that being said, I can close this out. Boom. And this is my Elgato capture card. So I'm actually in my other PC that's just around the corner here. So if I crash the computer at any point in time, I'm going to have to walk over there and reboot it, guys. So bear with me, because I plan on more than likely going to be crashing this out at least once or twice, just to show you guys what happens. So as you can see, it's running 4,573 hash a second, maximum at 4,600. So we're not talking about breakneck speeds on here. So let's see if I can give it anything more. So we're going to go ahead and kill this. I'm going to move my second mouse off the screen because that was confusing to look at. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to give this PC some admin privileges, right? Now the user on here has got admin rights, so I can admin into a lot of things, but there are restrictions in the PC to basically stop you from doing something that the average consumer will not. So the first thing that I do is I pull up my run command. The way that I do it is I pull it up through by holding the Windows button down and pressing the letter R, and it pulls up the run command box. If you did not want to, if you don't remember how to do that, you can sit here and just type in CMD, and it's going to command prompt. So CMD. So it's command prompt display. Okay. And that's just one way of doing this, okay? I prefer just doing this, pulling up the run box. Actually, I think I did that wrong. I think I was supposed to do... Oop. There we go. So the run app. So yeah, that's it. So I just type in run, and it'll pull up a box like this. Now, what we found is like where the location of this file was, so that we can get in there. It's gpedit dot. Oh, you're gonna have to wait. .msc, and that will get you to the beginning where I want to be. So let me go ahead and open this up a little bit more. So the first thing we're going to go into, we're going to give some admin rights here, okay? And go ahead and open this up. Now let me back up so I can explain exactly where I'm going, because you need to do this absolutely to start unlocking features on here so that you can mine Monero properly on it. So you're going in, once you put that into the run command, it's going to pull up this window. Go into computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, local policies. And then user write assignment. Yeah, user write assignment. And then you're going to look for one that says lock pages in memory. Okay. And then you click on that, and it's going to pull up this. Now, usually it'll just say the user name in here, no administrator. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go down to here. It says add user or group. As soon as you do that, go into advanced, right? No, that's not it. That's not it. I gotta remember where this was now. Oh, yeah, okay, now I remember. So you go into advanced, and then you go find now, and then the first thing is going to be administrator. You click on it, and then you're going to hit OK, and it'll put this up on there. Once it does that, reboot the computer. You're going to have to. You're just going to have to reboot it. You're basically giving yourself admin permissions for your RAM. Booyah. And then while you're rebooting it, it's going to allow you to do something else. You're going to be able to go into BIOS, where you're going to play with one aspect. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend like I just put that admin in there for the first time, and we're going to go ahead and reboot this computer, right? So we're going to go ahead and restart this thing, and when it starts to boot back up, I'll press F2 and delete, and just kind of, and it kind of just brings you right into there. And it's going to take a few seconds for it to shut down, do all of its happy stuff, no signal. Then it'll boot back up here in a second. There we go. And we go into BIOS, just like that. Let's go ahead and cancel that. So, we can see the memory frequency is running at 24 megahertz natively on here. So we're going to go over into the AI tweaker. I'm using an Asus ROG Strix motherboard, so where this is going to be at might be in a different spot from where I'm playing with it on here, but it should be called the same thing. So you're looking for one that says memory frequency, and you see how it's got auto on here, right? Now, remember what I was saying, that this thing, this CPU can handle 2933 on the RAM speed in megahertz. So now we're going to match it to the CPU. So now we're going to run it at 2933, so it is at its fastest efficiency speed. Boom. I did put it at 3000, and it did crash on me, so I'm not going to push it. I probably have to play with power levels and all that good stuff, and I didn't find a necessity to do it. Some people might just to tweak out a few extras, hash a second, but you burn power. So I try to save everything into its most efficient mode. So once you do that, you go to the exit, and then you go to save changes, save changes and reset. And it's going to ask you, yes, I do. I want to do that. So now it's going to power down. It powers down and reboots actually faster because you're not going through the hard drive. Now I do have an SSD hard drive on here, so it does boot pretty fast. Usually, unless I just crashed it. I shouldn't have. Looks like it's still on. Unless I looked up the wrong CPU. Thought I looked it up as a 29. Oh no, do I have the 26, the 2700, just a regular, not the X? I might have. Oh, no, here we go. It's now booting. It just took a second. Just have faith, I guess. Woo. Oh. Oh. It didn't like that. There we go. Let's see here. Sometimes you gotta go ahead and just do this then. Let's see here what your specifications are. 2933 too. And that's just a regular 2700. So it doesn't make a difference. It just didn't like it for some reason. Interesting. Yeah. We're going to try that again. So it should have done this. It technically should be able to handle this. I'm wondering if it's because I've got a cheaper CPU on it. I mean GPU on here. I had a little bit of a better GPU on here, and I'm wondering if it made a difference. So I hear it making some funky sounds. It might have just crashed again. This might be a limitation because I was doing my preliminary tests with a 5700 anniversary edition on here, and now I've got a GTX 550 Ti on there. We shall see here. I'll back this down until it fires back up. I'll figure out what the heck's going on here. Because I did have it at 2933 originally. That's a little bit more promising. So, GPU makes a difference, it looks like, fellas. So, your GPU can actually bottleneck your RAM. Note that. Because I did test this already, guys. And it was running at 2933 with a RX 57 500 anniversary edition. So, all right, now that we are back in, we've given ourselves permissions and all that good stuff, right? So the first thing that we're also going to want to do is, and I'm going to show this real quick. So if we just hit start, you see this MSR. To write MSR registry, administrative privileges required, right? Ooh. So that was what we had went through and gave the locked pages to memory. So we unlocked that in administration, right? So now I can, instead of going to the start menu, go to the XM rig here. This is actually the executable file. So I can right click it, and you see how it says run as administrator? Ooh, check this out. It's gonna ask you, do you wanna do that? You sure? And MSR, register values for Ryzen present has been set successfully. Boom. So let's see what this gets us in hash rate. Just bumping, now remember we were at 4,500 hash a second. Bam, bam, bam. It's sitting there hashing out. Bam, bam. Nefarious wanted his 5700 XT back, so it's his card. He was gracious enough to let me test on it. So I gave it back to him today. Boom. Come on, post your hash rate. Come on. It's being lazy. It's being really slow. Sorry, guys. There we go. So, we've already given it 200 hash, over 200 hash a second. And check that out. We haven't hardly done anything to it. We haven't increased any voltage to the CPU itself, so we're not even running the CPU all the way. So let's go ahead, shut this down. Another thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to go into the config.json file. Now you should already have Notepad++ downloaded, because that's the only way you can configure this. So you go ahead and open that up, and you go down to here and you see how it says memory pool, and it says false. We need to go ahead and change this to true. Okay, so I keep going to the wrong keyboard. And we're gonna do true. So we're going to do memory pool true, like I said, and we're going to go ahead and save. We're going to see what this does for us. Remember, right click, run as administrator. Let's see how many hash this gets us, because we just changed how it's going to allocate the memory on this. All right. All right, we're submitting some hash rate. Let's see where this gets us. Come on. I know it takes so much longer to show the actual hash rate, and you want it to let it hash a little bit so you can get an idea of where it's actually sitting at. New job accepted. Come on. Oh, look at that. We haven't even overclocked the CPU, guys. I have found a little, right around 500 hash so far. 500! With no overclock yet. None. So we're already getting where I'm supposed to be, because this thing is basically supposed to do about 5,000 hash. Well, I'm going to do a little more. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to kill this real quick. Bam. So the next leg would be, if you guys are wanting to follow along with this, pause the video right here, open up a new tab, and download Ryzen, AMD Ryzen Master. Free software from AMD, and it will allow you to easily overclock. Yes, guys, easily overclock. It's a little bit easier than Intel, because Intel, you got to do all this process through BIOS, which it's not a bad thing. This way, if you crash it out, you're not crashing with the hard drive. You're just crashing in BIOS, and it just reboots. It doesn't take a toll on your hard drive in any way, shape, or form. Okay, which is interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. It's gonna be like, warning, warning, danger, danger. Because it's like, oh, you can actually basically damage your stuff by overclocking it. Yes, let me do what I want. All right, so it gives you like really nice information. Okay, temperatures of the CPU. You can see it's at 37.25. We are running under a volt, right? Under 1 volt on the core. And it looks like we're getting like 1.5 gigahertz or so. And this is idle, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and let's fire this up again. Let me turn my speaker off because that's kind of annoying to hear the bleep. All right, so bam. We can get this out of the way. Make this a little smaller because I want to sit there and see this. So bam, it goes right up to 51. See, we're at 33.425 gigahertz under load. Now remember that the CPU was saying that it should be able to run at 3.7. So I'm 3 megahertz shy of where it really should be performing at. It'll eventually work its way up to about 60C running like it is right now. And you can see that we are currently running just a little bit over a volt per core. So, and it's not really turboing out the way I would like to see it. We have the RAM speed up. So next thing is we're going to go ahead and lean on that overclock a little bit here, okay? Go ahead and kill the miner. Do not overclock with the miner rolling. It'll crash your PC. I'm just saying. All right, so first thing we're going to do here, because if you notice here, I've really got no voltage control, right? So we're going to have to go from auto to manual. Boom. That's what I like to see. And if you see here, it's got CCX1 cores and then CCX2 cores. So it's basically the chipset set up into 2 different dies underneath the hood, basically. So you get 4 core modules, and it's got 2 modules in there. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to boost on all cores here. So, and it says that it can handle, that it can handle 4.7. So let's try 4. Let's try 4 on the 4.0. Oop, I did it again. I'm so used to having the other keyboard. So we're gonna put 4 gigahertz on the core. It was running 1.05, so let's go ahead and run this at 1.5. 1.15 to see if it even tries to hold this. It's probably going to make me start the computer. It may or may not turn on. I'm just gonna point that out right now. Hey, it just hung tight on that. So I've got 4 gigahertz on all 8 cores. Wow. It like took it like a champ. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire up the miner and see if this thing crashes. Yes. Oh! And it died. I knew it was going to do that. So that was apparently a scotch too much. I probably need to turn the computer back on. All right. Ugh. What's nice about that little program is if you crash it, it just resets the defaults. So at least you got that, guys. So don't worry if you're crashing it like that. If it just crashes right off the bat, you're good to go. Alright, I think it's going to try to open up the program right off the bat. Oh, excuse me. Oh, maybe not. It's like, come on. You going to open up the program? Alright. Alright, so as you see, it's basically right back to where it was. You know, no real overclock on it. So we're gonna come up over here and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try 3900 on all cores, 1.15 volts. So and trust me, I bumped it up a pretty substantial amount. You should make sure you have adequate cooling before you go down this route. I cannot stress this enough. Run as administrator. And it crashed. Well, let me see if I can add a little bit more power and make it do this, right? Considering that if it's going to crash, well, let's see it do it spectacularly. And then we'll start backing off power for temperature purposes. All right. Also grab myself a water. High quality H2O. Alright, so let that boot up. Alright, get back into the software. We know that it already reset on me. Go back into my little gamer mode here. So like I said, I was gonna add some power to this. So we are now going to try 1.175. And we're going to go ahead and apply this. Bam. So it is applied. Run as administrator. .57 Celsius. Ooh, we're gonna hit 60 C real quick here. So it looks like it's hanging out on 3.9 hertz now. Ooh. So giving it a little bit more power kind of helped hold it there. Now the thing is how warm is this bad boy going to get? And then I wonder what the hash rate is, guys. This thing's going to put out a good number. I just feel it. Feel it, guys. I feel it. And always that first hit doesn't always register at the highest hash rate. So just kind of got to let it wait just a little bit. Now we're at 66.75 C, and it looks like it's still climbing. Oof. But at least we know it's holding it. It's definitely holding it. We're gonna see how close to this. If I can get it to hit 4 gigahertz now. Now I'm curious. Can it be done? Oh, look at that! 5,372. So we're really close to 5,400 hash a second on that Monero, and it peaked out at 5,400. Yo, check that out. That's real stuff right there. Real. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to shut this bad boy down, and we're gonna see if I can get 4,000 on this core here. 4 gigahertz on all 8 cores. Let's go ahead and apply that. Ooh. Let's see if it just instantly crashes. Oh, it didn't even last. So I'm gonna give it a little bit more power. We're gonna see if 4 gigahertz is actually sustainable on here. All right. There we go. All right. Yes. I'm not playing around right now, sucker. We're gonna do this. So 1.2 volts on this. Let's see if this works. Let's see if the temperatures get out of control here. Because that's going to be my next thing, is I got to keep an eye on temperatures with all of this. Okay? Oop. Run as administrator. Yes, sir. It's like, nope. Nope, not gonna do it. No, 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 not gonna do it. Oh. That was like an instant no. So, we're gonna hit it with a little bit more power. Let's see if I can get it to work. Because it's crashing with Windows. Thank God I don't use this PC for anything, so I don't care. They can crash that hard drive all at once. There we go. That last one really crashed a hard drive. Yep, this is a real thing. Come on. Crashed Windows pretty good. Come on. Booyah. Sometimes when it does this, it's almost nicer to just kind of restart the computer just so that it shuts down properly and then reboots. I know it sounds silly, but it does tend to work, especially when you got AMD drivers. This is just telling me I crashed the AMD drivers, if you really want to know. I've never had an issue like that on NVIDIA. It's always been AMD that does that. Or if Windows was doing something in the background whenever it crashed, then it also does this stuff too. So As you see, boots back up a little nicer too. So we're gonna go ahead, hit this thing again. Ooh yeah! Told you I'm gonna crash this thing a bunch of times. Let's see if it does anything. I mean, I don't even care how long it hashes. I just want to see it hash, even if it gets hot real quick. Alright? I'm like right here to be able to turn it off. Already in the 60s. Damn! Hey, it's not crashing! It's at 4 gigahertz! Yo! Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Let's see what it hashes at. Is it worth all the voltage it's getting? And I'm just like watching the temp just climb. Climb! Oh my god, 69C. Woo! Come on, just post. It's gonna hit 70C here. 70C! Oh, come on, post a hash rate, come on. Oh, we're over 70C. Come on. Oh, it posted 5,300. Oh, I did not hit 4,000 gigahertz. I mean, 4,000. I mean, 5,400. I didn't go over the 400 mark. Oh, and it crashed. All right, let's see if it's going to come back nicely. Boom. Yes. So, I'm getting no real benefit for it being at 4,000. 4 gigahertz. So, it looked like I was able to hold it at 3.9. Keep going after the wrong keyboard. And I don't need to give it so much power. Let's tone it down by like a quarter of a volt, give or take. So let's go ahead and apply this. Now we're at 3.9. Because like I was saying, the boost frequency, that upper limit, the closer you can get to that upper limit, the more of a lottery winner, silicon lottery winner you got. But anything over its normal run frequency, you're doing good. Oop. Let's just open that up. Hey. There we go. Let's see how warm everything tries to get. We're at 3.9 gigahertz. We got huge pages set. We've got the RAM overclocked. Yeah, so it looks like this thing has basically got its best conditions right now. We're at 65C. At least it's not like before at the 1.25. It was just right into the 70s before it even posted. And as soon as it posted, blah, 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 blah. 67C. Hey, we are over 5,400 hash. Let's see if it goes up any higher. And at the same time, it's going to let me see the temperature and see if that temperature levels off, or as it goes up more, it's just going to keep climbing, I think. Well, we're coming close to 69.75. Now, I do have the MX4 thermal compound on here. I'm not running it with the stock thermal compound in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, we're heading up into that 70C territory. We are a lot hotter than I would like to see that CPU run at. But it's holding at 5,400 hashes a second now. So if you had a water block on here or an LM2 pot, I'm sure you can push more voltage through this, get that hash rate a little bit higher. It's some of the reasons why I'm looking into getting a LM2 pot for both the GPU and the CPU for testing purposes, you know, hash rate drag racing. Hash drags, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely still slowly climbing. It's not climbing as fast, so whoop, 69.5C. Yeah, we're gonna hit 70C here in no time. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop the power down a little bit. Let's see, just dropping it down 1/4 of a volt again. And let's go ahead and apply that. So a full 1/4 of a volt instead of like 1/10 of a volt like I did before. Some water. And also know that if you run the core frequency up higher, it is going to demand a little bit more power, so you are going to generate more heat. So kind of keep that in mind. So I'm still over 5,400 hash, and I dropped it 1/4 of a volt. So bam, 67.75. Are you gonna hang tight right there? Whew, we just crossed that 68C threshold. That chip is hot. It's it can boil water. I'm just saying. Or probably not boil water, but you would see it in the water loop if you were running it this hot. You'd have a lot of air bubbles in your water loop, because it would probably boil a little bit of the water right at the ISH. Are you gonna hold tight at 68C? Because if so, I dropped it 1/4 of a volt and it's still hashing just as hard. Can I drop it down a little bit more? Let's find out. 'Cause it doesn't look like I really negatively impacted it, and it's holding tight at 68. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna close this down again. We're gonna drop this down to 1.5 volts. There we go. Let's go ahead and apply this. Oh! It looks like we found ourselves that sweet spot. So 1.175 seems to be the sweet spot on the power. Hopefully it didn't just glitch out on me again. All right. Hey. Here we go. And because it crashed a couple of times, let's go ahead and let it shut down the right way. It's AMD. Let's not anger the AMD driver gods. Usually boots up a little faster when you do this too. So looks like we are almost wrapped up on doing the tutorial on this. Now, from here, I can sit there and do one of two things. I can either drop the core frequency down just a little bit, or I can sit there and push the voltage back up. It all depends on how you want it to live life heat-wise. Let's go back into here. Now, considering that I know I had it at the 1.75 range before, this is actually a little bit higher on the core speed than where I had it before. I was running it at 3.8 gigahertz, and it looks like I can, with this voltage on there, it will hold 3.9. So I'll keep an eye on this just a little bit, make sure that the temperatures don't go above 68C. Anything under 70C in my book is okay. As soon as you run over 70 or above, turn it off and back stuff down. That's the only bit of advice that I would give, that if it starts to, keep an eye on it. If it starts to overheat, back it off immediately. Do not let it just hash away in the 70C. If you're on a water block, you can kind of get away with it, but long term, you're beating your stuff up. It's not worth dealing with that kind of heat. You will spend more in electricity dissipating heat. And if you're looking at, oh, I've got free power, you're going to burn your stuff out. And what you're not spending on cooling, you're going to spend in hardware. So try not to burn your stuff out, guys. That's why even this program firing up has big warnings on it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply this. And we're going to fire back up the mining rig program. Run it as administrator. Yes, sir. Put you over here. Slide you like this. Now I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Of course, my stuff's gonna be kind of slow and wonky to. Really, Stream Deck, really. There we go. Stream Deck was being a little, because I'm mining on the computer, and of course, you know, I'm pulling videos, so everything just runs as a pinch slower from time to time. It's a minor thing, you know. If you understand, you understand. So, oh wow, oh, check this out. It just crashed at the 3.9 gigahertz. So it looks like 3.9 can run on there, but it's not very stable. Boom. That's an interesting one. All right. So, let's try it again. So it looks like 3.9, although I can hit it just like 4.0, not very stable. So we're going to have to back that off just a little bit more. Just a little. Just a little. Just a little bit. All right. Is okay. Cross all cores, apply. And run as administrator, of course, yes. Jeez. Alright. So we're running MSR as admin. So it's presetting everything properly. Got it overclocked at a stable overclock that I know is stable. Ooh, excuse me. So the only thing that I know I don't have to worry about temperatures on this. We are good to go. So if you guys got any questions or comments or anything like that, certainly drop them in down below. While you're down there, guys, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and share this video with anybody that you think could benefit with learning how to overclock on a AMD Ryzen series CPU, and it also works on Threadripper's same software. I'm running it on this computer as we speak right now. I've got the 1900X. I've got it running at 3.9 gigahertz across all cores. Its max turbo frequency is 4.0. I can make mine run at 4.0, very stable, but it wants all the power, guys. So without, you know, I don't want to sit there and be mining on my Threadripper while it's with a water block. It's wanting to run at like 74C with a water block. So I'd hate to see what this thing does if you had an air cooler on there, guys. So with that being said, you know, watch your temperatures, make sure your temperatures stay nice and low. It's better to have a little less hash rate to know that you're going to have longevity of your hardware, guys. So with that, guys, being said, any comments or questions that you might have, certainly drop them in down below. If not, check out the links down below. We have a Patreon that you can sit there and join. I've got Discords down there. So there are multiple venues of ways to be able to get a hold of me. So if you'd like to get a hold of me through Patreon and actually support this channel, go ahead and go into Mining After Dark, and you can sit there and basically pledge to both me and Mikkel, where, you know, and of course, big shout out to my man Mikkel here, who helped get some of the information that I needed to work around the software end of this. So, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.